These are the notes for section 3.6. In section 3.6, you're asked to find intervals for specific values. So our first example asks for what values, if any, is f of x greater than 4. So you'll remember that f of x stands for the y values. So I'm looking for y values greater than 4. So we can actually kind of look at the points on this line and say, well, the y value here is 0, and here is 1, and here is 2, and here is 3, etc. We can actually write down what the y values are. Those are the y values of the points. So right here is when y equals 4. But I'm not asked to find when it equals 4. I'm asked for greater than 4. So if I look at the next one, it equals 5. So if I look to the left of y equals 4, I have smaller than 4 values. If I look to the right of y equals 4, I have greater than y values. So greater than 4 y values. So I know that I'm over on this side of my line. So now I need to answer the actual question. I know where I am, so I now need to specify the values. And what they're asking for here is they're asking for x's. They're saying at what x, if any, is this statement true? Is f of x greater than 4? So I look at this and I see that f of x starts being greater than 4 at x equals 4. But it's greater than, which means these are open circles. And then it's greater than. So we would say f of x is greater than 4 when x is greater than 4. Our second example asks us to find on what interval is f of x greater than g of x. So in this case, we're not looking for a specific value for f of x. We're actually looking for a relationship between two functions. So you'll remember that these mean y's. So I'm looking for y values where the f of x is bigger than the g of x. So let's write down some y values. Here, my y value is 3. Here in that same x value, my y value is 0. Here, my y value is also 3. However, down here, my y value is -6. And then there's that special place, which we talked about in a previous section, where they're equal. Right here, the y's are equal. So that acts as my boundary. That acts as the turning point. To the left of this turning point, we can see that the f of x values are bigger. They're higher up, 3 is bigger than 0, etc. From the turning point to the right of the turning point, we can see that the g of x values are bigger. 3 is bigger than -6, 2 is bigger than -3, etc. So we need to make sure that we look at the portion where the f of x is greater than g of x. And that happens to the left of this value. So we're going to say that starts to happen right about here, and it goes for these x values. Now in this case, we're going to have to estimate. We don't know exactly what this point is. So we'll say that x is less than, not or equal to, because this is an open circle, because this is an open circle. And it looks to me like if we estimate it to be approximately -1, -2, maybe -2.5, we should be in pretty good shape. And maybe just to be very clear, we'll say approximately. That way my teacher is certain to understand that I have taken an educated best estimate as opposed to knowing that it is an exact value.